Welcome back to Murder with the Misses. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Laken Riley.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. All right. Do not forget to tell your friends.
Don't do it.
I've been seeing a lot of subscribers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. But there's like a lot of viewers that are watching the videos, and if you guys just click that subscribe button, because there's a lot of return people that are coming in and watching the videos and watching more. Just click that subscribe button, hit that little bell. It'll keep you informed when we got new ones coming.
Yeah.
All right, on with the story.
And we're going to get straight into this one. Some may have heard of it, some may have not, but it is one that's been in the news for the past year, all the way up to about a couple of weeks ago. Laken Hope Riley was born on January 10th of 2002. She's described as smart, hardworking, kind, thoughtful, a child of God, and a shining beacon in the light of everyone who knew her. In high school, she was on the cross-country team because she liked to run. In the spring of 2023, she went to UGA, and that's the University of Georgia in Athens. She was a member of the Alpha Chi Omega sorority. I was never in a sorority, so. She was working, taking care of elderly in a nursing home. One of her last journal entries was a letter telling her future husband that she was working every day to become the best wife that she could be. On February 22nd of 2024, one of her roommates, Lily, came down expecting to find Laken at the breakfast table, but she wasn't there. Her car was still outside, though. And it was about 9:30 a.m. that Lily used the Find My iPhone feature to see that Laken was out for a run on the trails at the UGA campus. Lily had some stuff to do, so she went out to run errands. But when she got home, she saw that Laken still wasn't there. So it was about 10:45 a.m. that she checked that Find My iPhone again and saw that Laken's location was showing in the exact same spot it was over an hour before. Now, Lily, their roommate Connolly, and the dog went to where the phone was showing, but they didn't find Laken. Only an AirPod, like they said, an AirPod. So that means one AirPod. So they went home and called the UGA police at 12:07 to tell them what was going on. Because Laken had class at 1 and she would not miss it. It was her nursing class. So they knew that she wouldn't miss it and something had to happen to cause her not to be there. It wasn't looking good.
Well, I hope they took it serious.
The police, yeah, they did. They did.
Oh, okay.
So at 12:38, Laken's body was found under a pile of leaves just off that trail. CPR was attempted, but she sadly had already passed on. But it was immediately obvious that someone had brutally attacked her. So the investigation starts. Phone records show that she texted her mom at 8:55 that morning saying, "Good morning. About to go for a run if you're free to talk." Then she called her mom at 9:03, but her mom doesn't answer. And this is the same time that Laken is seen on the doorbell camera footage leaving the house for her run. UGA surveillance footage shows Laken running with her phone in her left hand. Her mom called her back 20 minutes after that missed phone call, so that would be around 9:23. She got no answer. At 9:37, she texted Laken, "Call me when you can." She called twice, then texted again at 9:58, saying, "You're making me nervous not answering while you're out running. Are you okay?" She would text again at 11:47, "Please call me. I'm worried sick about you."
Well, I bet she was. I mean, that's scary for a parent.
Yeah, because they're out, they're by themselves, that, they're in a location where there's just, it's a trail.
Yeah.
There's so much that could happen out in the woods.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
She was terrified.
It's stuff like that. I mean, we text our kids all the time, and they are the worst. Most kids are. So, like, I get on their butts about this all the time. They're grown. I'm like, look, if I text you, just if you're busy, text me. I'm busy. Cool. At least I know you're all right.
Signs of life, please.
Yeah, please. Signs of life. I mean, it's, we ran into that on another case. It was which case was that? The Okmulgee one.
The girl. Oh, yeah. That was the, okay. Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
The guy who killed the whole family and the two friends.
And the friends, yeah.
I can't remember his name right now.
We'll remember here in a little bit. But anyway, that was a interesting case. But the father of one of the girls always told her to text me signs of life.
Yeah.
Basically that's what his deal was. It's not, it wasn't like creepy like that, signs of life. It was just text me and let me know you're okay. Basically, that's all it was.
Yep. And
we do the same thing with our kids, even though they're grown. If we text them, just text us back. That's it. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
But if you're busy, say, I'm busy.
Let me throw this out there too, because if they text us and we don't answer, we catch hell for it.
Oh, yeah. They call us, they FaceTime us, they give us mean messages and everything.
How do I know you're not in a ditch somewhere?
Exactly.
We get that from them. Yeah. So they get it.
Yep.
But the police found her phone near her body in the leaves, and she also had a smartwatch. It shows that at 9:10, she stopped running. She activated the SOS emergency function on her phone to call 911. And they played this call in court, and you can hear the operator repeatedly saying her line, 911, what's your emergency, stuff like that. But on the other end of the line, you hear nature sounds, birds chirping, stuff like that. And then you hear a slight smashing sound, followed by 4 thuds that sound like someone stomping on dirt. That's what it sounded like to me. Then the caller hangs up. The operator tried to call back a couple of times, but got no answer. Minutes later, the data shows that she was moved 64 feet and 11 inches into the woods, and her heart stopped at 9:28 a.m. And it wasn't just her phone found at the scene. They also found rocks with blood on them, and hair on them, and blood on a nearby tree. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or the GBI, came on scene, but it was Sergeant Kenneth Maxwell who found the body. They played the body cam footage in court so you can hear the audio, and you hear him attempting CPR, counting the compressions. Her mom, understandably, had to leave the courtroom when they were playing that video.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, that's very tough to listen to. Plus, it's the cam footage, so you could probably see him doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last moments, right?
Well, she's already gone at this point, but it's them trying to save her.
Yeah,
it's seeing her in the state she was found in.
Yeah.
That's fucking tough. But you hear him say that she looks like she's been attacked, and it looks like blunt force trauma to the head. He testified that her shirt was pulled up above her breasts, showing it was intentionally pulled up or could have been used to drag her body. She had on 3 layers of top clothing, and they were all pulled up. Her underwear was torn and pulled outside of her tights. GBI agent Byers testified her clothing was bunched up around her neck. He said, I could see the underwear protruding from the top of her pants on the front of her body. The waistband of her pants had been moved, and the underwear was poking out from the top. As I just stated, the backside of her running pants were pulled down, exposing the top of her buttocks. So this obviously leads to the belief that this was a sexually motivated attack. That's the whole reason I said all that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it means nothing. But police are canvassing the surrounding areas for evidence, of course. And about a mile away at an apartment community, they check the dumpsters. Officer Davis checks the recycling dumpster and finds a dark-colored hoodie with blood on it. Also, leaves on it. It had a tear on it, and in the body cam footage, you hear him say, oh shit. There's hair in the buttons, ripped up sleeves. And the hair is brown. Laken had brown hair. They talk to the people at the apartments and find a doorbell camera on an apartment that looks directly at the dumpsters. At 9:44 a.m., you see a person at the dumpster throwing something away, and they also threw something away in the bushes behind the dumpsters. The person is wearing a specific black Adidas hat. The next day, they interview 3 brothers who live in one of the apartments. One of the brothers, Diego, is wearing that black Adidas hat. They interview him for 90 minutes. He says he was asleep at the time Laken was murdered. Now, he did work at the dining hall at UGA, so he was looking like he might have some ties to her, like maybe he had seen her before they had crossed paths. But when they interviewed his brother, Jose Ibarra, they noticed some things. Red knuckles, scratches, and he had a scratch on his left forearm, the left side of his neck by his ear, and a scratch on the right side of the front part of his neck. On the left wrist, just below the palm, he had a puncture. They said it was maybe half an inch wide, and it was pretty fresh. Like, not something that had scabbed over or been there for a while. It was fresh.
Yeah, so I mean, it looked like he was in some kind of fight.
Some kind of an altercation, yes. So, Jose gets arrested. He said his knuckles were red because it was cold, and he couldn't remember how he got all those scratches. They find out that he was an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela. He came into the United States near El Paso. He was arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Protection on September 8th of 2022. He was paroled and released into the United States for further processing, according to ICE. New York City police arrested him in September of 2023 and charged him with acting in a manner to injure a child less than 17 and a motor vehicle license violation. The NYPD released him before a detainer could be issued. But according to the NYPD, they have no record of Jose being arrested. So they're like, I don't know where you got that from, ICE. He's never been here. Jose was allowed to stay in the country to pursue his immigration case. He was staying at the Roosevelt Hotel, which was an intake center for migrants. And his brother told him to come to Georgia and he could find work. So he flew to Georgia on a humanitarian flight. In October of 2023, Jose and Diego were both arrested by Athens police on theft charges. They had some stuff on them that had been stolen from Walmart. They were released, and a warrant ended up being issued for him in December when he didn't show up from court or for court.
But I don't understand. I mean, so, you know, there's people that are in jail for way less.
Way less.
And they will not let them go.
Absolutely.
And these guys are caught on stealing. They're known to be suspected of this.
They have a history of being arrested for all kinds of things.
But yet they let them go.
Every time.
Every time.
Every single time.
I mean, boy, it's just, the system is just so screwed up.
It needs an overhaul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why they keep letting him out. Plus, he was undocumented, so he could be seen as a flight risk. So
exactly. I mean, yeah, there's so many reasons.
There's so many reasons
not to let him out.
Yeah, but they do. And they wouldn't, they wouldn't be able to track him down if they needed to. So, like, he didn't show up for court, so they issue a warrant. Well, that's just hoping to find him. There's nowhere to go to look for him. You know what I mean? There's nothing on file.
Yeah.
It's just really, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And they look into what he was doing the day of the murder. So let's get down to this. That morning, a camera on campus shows a man peeping into an apartment, going up to the door several times, even opening the outer door twice. The woman who lived in the apartment took a shower, and when she came out the door, she saw him outside, so she called police. The footage shows it was Jose, and he was ducked down, hiding when she called the police. He was seen out there for about an hour doing all that. He was facing, so now he's facing 10 charges. So you've got malice murder, 3 counts of felony murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, hindering an emergency phone call, tampering with evidence, and now a peeping Tom charge because he's been looking in these apartments on the campus. Jose made the bold choice to go with a bench trial instead of a jury trial. So for anyone not familiar, he chose to have only the judge hear his case and decide his fate because his attorneys, they worried that a jury would be too emotional. So they figured that they would have a better chance having the case heard by one impartial person who was more likely to focus on just the facts and take the emotion out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, facts are still facts.
Yes. Yes.
If everything points to him, he's screwed either way. And the whole thing is, like, you have a better chance at a jury trial because then you got a whole jury that is going to either agree with themselves or you're going to not agree with themselves. So you could have that one person.
One person is all it takes.
That says, maybe you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that's it.
That's it.
And, then they got to go back through everything just to figure out whether it was or wasn't and see if they can either come over to this guy's conclusion, or they can pull him over to this or her
right
over to their conclusion.
Right.
So a judge, basically, he's going to listen to what he wants to listen to and everything, because half the time you can see that they're just bored.
They're not bored. They're working.
Well, I mean, they're releasing them for no damn reason.
Well, there is that.
You know,
there is that.
They're always releasing them when they shouldn't be. So, I mean, that tells me that they're just like, they're listening to what they need to listen to, and that's it.
Well, plus you got one guy or woman versus 12.
Yeah, exactly. And he could just be like, he could listen to the main focus of the charges and everything else, and he'd just be like, see ya.
Yeah.
You know,
100%. And then what do? You're done. I get you.
Yeah. So anyway, we come to the point of the middle of the story. So we do have to take a little ad break. Stick with us. We're going to do this ad break, and then we'll come right back.
BRB. Do you or someone you know live in an apartment community? Are you balling on a budget? Then this ad is for you.
Some apartments don't have a washer and dryer included in the lease. If you want that life, then contact My Laundry Solutions.
They serve Tulsa, Oklahoma, Springfield, Joplin, and Kansas City, Missouri, Sherman, Dallas, Houston, and Lubbock, Texas. Their newest location is in Fort Worth, with more locations opening in Texas in 2025 and 2026. No credit check, free service, professional installation, and your account is available online, all for about $1 a day. Go to your leasing office, go to mylaundrysolutions.com, or call 800-535-4411.
Stop wasting that hard-earned money at the laundromat and give My Laundry Solutions a call today. If you do live in an apartment community, go check out My Laundry Solutions, because they can help you out and they service everything. So
$1 a day, y'all.
I mean, come on. That's the way to go. And then if you go buy one, you're stuck with servicing it. And if it breaks down, you got to go buy a new one. Mm-hmm. Why not just rent it? You know what I mean? And if it's something and they'll fix it, it makes sense.
It makes the sense.
Yeah.
Now, GBI agents and the medical examiner say that there were many injuries to Laken. Her death had been ruled a homicide caused by the combined effects of blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. She had been strangled. She had a depressed skull fracture on the left side of her head. She had 8 lacerations to her head. She had linear marks on her torso and another similar mark, just wider, found when her underwear was pulled down just slightly. Crime scene specialists say that there was an area of the surroundings that showed leaf coverage was pretty thick. So all the way around her, it was pretty thick foliage coverage of leaves. But in one area, you could see the ground. Like, definitely a big disturbance happened. They called it a significant disturbance in that area. They also pointed out...
I'm sitting here sniffling. Sorry.
'Tis the season.
It is cold out here. I'm sorry. I'm over here sniffling and everything. So
I sound nasally too.
Every once in a while, you guys hear, you know.
Darren, he's emotional.
My bad. Yeah.
They also pointed out that Laken's hair was matted. So, I mean, they're still pointing towards signs of this being sexually motivated, according to the medical examiner. Now, saying that there were no ties between Laken and Jose was another thing. They couldn't put the two together, but he was also seen peeping into an apartment of a person that they can't tie him to either. So kind of looks like a predator. I'm just saying. There was no indication that they had any interaction before that, for sure.
Was he trying to get into other people's, other women's apartments too?
That day he was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was literally a couple of hours before Laken was attacked. He was trying to get into that woman's apartment.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was her apartment.
Right. No, she lived in a house with some other women. This was an apartment on campus.
Okay. I thought he was peeping into her apartment.
No, whole different woman.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was up to no good. Now, an hour before the attack, surveillance shows the man in the dark
But yet
colored
they
jacket.
still let him out.
Well, this was the day Laken was murdered, so he hasn't been out since then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was now we're on the day.
Okay.
Yeah. So an hour before the attack, surveillance shows that the man in the dark colored jacket and the hat was in the area of the trails where Laken was found. On Jose's phone, they find that he had taken selfies that morning and he was wearing a black Adidas hat and the dark colored hooded jacket. Also, his phone wasn't using Wi-Fi services, so they couldn't like pinpoint his location down to the little area they get you in, but they used cell tower pings to show that he was in the same area that Laken was found in at the time of her death. And there was a bloody thumbprint on Laken's phone screen. So this is where they got the hindering the emergency services call.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jose's thumbprint in blood on the phone, on the part of the screen where you would touch to hang up a phone call. Like maybe, I don't know, a 911 phone call. Yeah. Laken had Jose's DNA under her right fingernails. And don't forget the hair in the jacket.
Yeah.
The GBI tested 29 hairs found on that jacket, and they were Laken's.
Wow.
It was also her hair and blood on the rocks and the tree at the crime scene. It was her blood on the jacket that they got out of the recycling bin, and they found her DNA on that black Adidas hat.
That's a lot of evidence.
That's a lot of evidence.
I mean, case closed, right?
Well, his defense says it was circumstantial.
Oh, good.
I know that's
Lord.
your favorite word. Yep. They actually pointed the finger at his brother, Diego.
Okay.
So Diego worked at UGA. So like we said before, they could have crossed paths at some point. And they say that the state didn't test Jose's fingerprints to see if, they didn't test Jose's fingers to see if he had any of Laken's DNA like under his fingernails.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I mean, he could have went home, took a shower.
Or he didn't scratch her.
Yeah.
Like she scratched him. That's why it was under her fingernails. But okay. They said they didn't test the blood from that bloody thumbprint on her phone screen to make sure whose blood that was.
It was still Jose's fingerprint.
It was his thumbprint.
That's the whole thing. Fingerprints, that's an ID.
Yes.
That not everybody has the same print.
Nope. Not even twins have the same fingerprint.
They're close.
Very close.
It'd be very close, but not exact.
The same. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's why whenever you go in, if you get arrested or anything like that, you get fingerprinted.
100%.
That's the way they can identify to make sure you are you.
That's right. But the defense said that fingerprint analysis is questionable.
No, it's not. Negative.
Okay. His phone showed that he was in the area at the time. Yes, they agree with that. But other people had access to his phone.
Do they have access to the fucking fingerprint or thumbprint?
Are they carrying around his thumb in their pocket?
I understand that, like you have your thumbprint on my phone.
Right.
Donovan has, his thumbprint on my phone just in case.
Yes.
Did his friends have their thumbprints on his phone?
No. See, this is the thing. That's not what they're saying. They're talking about that bloody thumbprint.
I know, but
there's only one way to get that there.
Yeah.
Physical touch.
It's almost like they're acting like, oh, one of his friends had his phone that day.
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
So
you can't
either way, they still have to have access.
No.
Why would they have his phone?
Well, they all shared things. But what they're saying is he was in the area based on his phone data.
Yeah.
But it could have been somebody else with his phone in that area. But it couldn't have been somebody else using his thumbprint on Laken's phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's highly unlikely.
Exactly. And the video of the man throwing away the bloody jacket in the recycling dumpster, well, the defense said that the angle and quality of the video wasn't the best. And Diego owned the same hat and shows that is him in the video. Like, you can't just say that because of that hat, it was Jose.
No, you can't, because, they made more than one type of Adidas hat.
Yes, they did.
Okay. So they can't bank everything on just a hat.
They cannot.
But the three brothers lived in an apartment, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They have 3 brothers and 2 other people that live in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have shared clothes.
I bet they did. As a matter of fact, it was brought up that Jose had the hat and gave it to his brother. And that's why his brother would have had the hat. Like literally the day that he killed Laken, he would have went home and gave him that hat. Here's a hat. Anyways, we'll get into that too.
But it still don't explain the thumbprint.
Does not explain that thumbprint. Or All that DNA of Jose's under her fingernails.
Exactly. I mean, it's,
Yes.
I mean, even if they tested the DNA is going to come, if it was 99, it was like 100% his.
It's Jose.
Okay. So if it was one of the other brothers, it would be like a 90, what?
It would say like
95
close.
or 98 or 96%.
They could tell. They'd be like, it's a relation, an immediate relation. Yeah.
It'd be like, they basically be like, it's a brother.
They can tell you even how far down the line. Yes.
Yeah, they'd be like, it's a brother. It's not him, but it's a brother.
Well, no, that's all tomfoolery, according to the defense.
Yeah, whatever. No, they have this shit for a reason.
So then they also said, okay, so even if it was Jose throwing away that bloody jacket, maybe Diego told him to do it. Like, here, will you take this and throw it in the dumpster? And he just did it because his brother asked him to. And okay, so I mean, this is another way. He could have walked in, had all this shit on and everything else, and is Diego the older brother? Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that part up.
So
I think
mean,
so,
if he's the older brother or whatever, or if he's the wilder brother, he could.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, he could have been like, take all your shit off,
True.
and went and disposed of it himself.
But let me tell you this. So why did he throw it in the recycling dumpster then? Why not throw it in the regular dumpster, the trash dumpster? Because
they would think because you would think to look in the regular dumpster, not in the recycling
exactly.
dumpster.
So he was obviously hiding it from the cops.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Way. Yes. They also threw something in the bushes. So on the camera, you can see them walk over to the bushes and throw something and then go to the recycling bin and throw it in there. That was a pair of black kitchen gloves.
Oh.
Those gloves also had Laken's DNA on them. Now, Diego worked in the dining hall at UGA, so he had access to black kitchen gloves.
Oh, so like the
nitrile or whatever.
Nitrile gloves or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I imagine he could have brought some of those at home, like brought them back to the house after work. And there was 4 other people in that apartment who would have access to them. So you can't just say, oh, Diego's the only person that had access.
Mm-hmm.
I have access to black gloves because you have the food truck. So I've got them in my kitchen. Just because if we prepare something in this kitchen, there's the gloves.
So did they test the gloves?
Oh, yeah. I had Laken's DNA on them.
What about on the inside?
They didn't say.
Because, just as well as I do, when we wear them gloves, we sweat, our hands are sweaty and everything. It's just, it is what it is. It's just,
they're sealed up.
They're sealed up. You just can't keep your hands sweat inside them gloves.
You're leaving DNA.
It's nasty. Them gloves, I don't.
Cool in there.
Huh?
It's not cool in there.
It's not. Yeah. I hate wearing them gloves, but you have to.
But they work.
When you're doing food. It's just one of the deals.
100%.
Yeah. That's your health inspectors.
We're keeping y'all safe.
Yeah, that's them keeping y'all safe, with your sweaty hands and gloves.
But Diego allegedly had ties to a Venezuelan gang. So when you said he might have been the better brother, he supposedly had ties to the Venezuelan gang and was in federal custody because he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of possession of a fraudulent document.
Oh,
now he
papers.
was yes. Now he was called to the stand on day 4 of Jose's trial, but his lawyer wasn't there, and his lawyer had advised him not to testify, so they couldn't make him. Maybe they could have, but they didn't. They decided they had a break. And they all got together and they'd all decided.
Actually, because he's not. They could have made him because he is not.
Well, you have the right to protect yourself. And
but he's not a U.S. citizen.
But he had his own case going on. So they're saying you should not testify without your lawyer being present. And his lawyer was not present. So they couldn't, they didn't want to make him testify.
Yeah. But it's just when you're not, it sucks to say, but when you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have
the full rights. Yeah. Well, they give you what they can, and he had the right to an attorney, and he did not have an attorney there. So either way, we didn't hear a word from him at trial. He did get on stand, but he didn't say none. But a neighbor at the apartment community said that the day that Laken was murdered, Diego came over asking why there were so many police cars around.
Suspicious.
Yes. She used a translator app to tell them what he said to her because he spoke in broken English and she wasn't fluent in Spanish. But he apparently said, if you tell them, I will tell them you did. and then I will kill you too. Now, this neighbor was questioned by the prosecutor, and she said that she was in a sexual relationship with Diego at the time. She was under the influence when she talked to investigators, and she also admitted that when questioned by the GBI on February 23rd, so that'd be the day after the murder, she was mad at Diego because he was having sex with another woman.
Ooh, hell hath no fury.
Yes. So she kind of lost her credibility because she looks like a scorned lover. So do with that what you will. Either way, the judge did find Jose guilty on all 10 counts that he was charged with, and the prosecutor pushed for the judge to give him the max sentence for each charge, saying that in 30 to 40 years, Laken's sister Lauren would be the one left to worry about him being released. Friends and family spoke. A longtime family friend said something that most people don't say out loud. She said, when she heard that Laken was missing, she was rushing to get to them to help search for her. And she said, I was begging the Lord for her to still be alive. And as terrible as this would be, found physically unharmed and alive, or that she would be able to escape to safety, and praying that she wasn't being trafficked. I've never prayed for anyone to be kidnapped. At the time, that seemed like the better alternative.
No, it's the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah. So
Still
hearing somebody
sucks,
say,
but-
I've never prayed for somebody to be kidnapped before, but I did that day. That's like sad but true.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, because then she would still be there.
I wouldn't wish none of that on anybody.
No.
But, you know.
But look at the alternative.
We live in a cruel world.
We do. Watch your back, people.
Mm-hmm.
Her roommate, Connolly, said that she has since stopped running, something that she used to do every day. And Laken's sister, Lauren, is now a UGA student herself, but she's terrified to walk around campus alone. And her mom told the judge that Jose showed no regard for Laken or human life, so they were asking for the same to be done to him. The judge did end up sentencing him to the max for each one. So he got a life without parole, a life with parole, 20 years, 1 year, 1 year, and 5 years. So 2 life sentences plus 27 years, all to be served consecutively.
He done.
And that was in November of 2024. So he's already filed for a new trial because you have 30 days to do that. His lawyer said it is contrary to law and contrary to the evidence that the court committed other errors of law that necessitate a new trial. The judge said that while he listened to closing arguments, he wrote down 2 things on his legal pad: overwhelming and powerful. And the defense attorney reminded him that he was required to set aside emotions when making his ruling. So they were looking at that as being emotional responses to his
That was
judgment.
the reason why he asked for a bench trial, not jury.
Exactly.
It's your own fucking fault.
Exactly.
That is your problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
your
run into
lawyer
that.
wasn't good enough to talk you into jury.
Oh, I just
Your
don't
fault, buddy.
understand that. I don't understand that.
He's just, I bet anything, he's just afraid of the Venezuelan gang. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's his brother. His brother supposedly has ties. Well,
The lawyer's probably
He
scrambling
too.
because he's probably afraid he's about to get got.
about to get cut. Now, remember, this all happened in 2024 too. So the murder was in February. He was found guilty in November. So this was the whole year of 2024, basically. And 2024 was an election year.
Of course.
Immigration and border security are always an issue. So this case was talked about by both sides. Someone may bring this up in the comments, so just keep in mind that everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Yep.
Her family started the Laken Riley Foundation. It supports existing organizations that promote safety awareness for women, aid and tuition assistance for nursing students, and children's health care. There's also the Laken Riley Act. Now, it would mandate federal detention of illegal immigrants who are arrested for burglary or theft and would allow states to file suit against the federal government for failing to enforce immigration laws. On January 7th of 2025, so a couple weeks ago, it passed the House of Representatives, making it the first piece of legislation passed by the newly elected 119th Congress. And this was just 4 days after that Congress took office. So you can see the intention, but opposers point out that the law doesn't mention funding. So ICE reported that it would need $3.2 billion for 2025 if this law passes.
Where do they think the money's going to come from?
That's a lot of money.
I mean,
the Republicans said that they would gladly find money for it, because you got to think, if you're going to start detaining everybody, then you have to house them, you have to feed them, you have to provide them with counsel. So you need more immigration lawyers. Like, it's expensive. It's expensive, but you got to weigh out the options. What else do you do? So that's another big debate.
Yeah.
And Georgia officials signed into law immigration enforcement legislation too. It requires local and state law enforcement officials to verify the immigration status of those over the age of 18 who have been arrested, those in detention, or those who an officer has probable cause to believe have committed a crime.
Wow.
Did you catch that last part?
Yeah. And I mean, I can already see that, it could open the door for more problems.
Right. It's that wording. Oh, he looked like he could have committed a crime, because probable cause, sadly, is some of the most flimsy stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So they can just make it whatever they want.
About as bad as stop and frisk.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyways, hopefully they'll get it figured out one of these days.
Yeah.
But that is the case of Laken Riley. And I really wonder if Diego's pissed that they pointed the finger at him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just sitting there and they're like, well, maybe his brother did it. And Diego's like, wait, what? Me?
Yeah.
So maybe he's cool with it. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
who knows? But that's it.
That's the end of this one.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, you are.
Thanks for listening. And, remember, we read a lot of the comments and stuff, and we try to answer as many of them as we can. And we will get to them. But if you guys do want to contribute or support, we do have the Buy Me a Coffee. It's buymeacoffee.com/MWTM. And then we have the Murder with the Missus on the Cash App. It's dna.truecrime@gmail.com. So
greatly appreciated, y'all. Oh, and my favorite comments are when you guys just tell me your opinions on the case. I really love to hear what everybody says. What about this? Did you talk about this?
Absolutely.
What about this? I'm like, yes.
It's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Catch us next time. Later.
Bye.